Alright, good morning everyone, and to Sergio Creed. So today I'm going to present about my stories, which is Robin Hood and the tortoise and the hare. Okay. So for introduction, short stories are useful in learning English because they are simple, interesting, and give clear lessons. They also shows how language is used in different situations and cultures. In this presentation, two stories will be discussed, which is Robin Hood and the tortoise and the hare. Robin Hood shows the culture context through values of justice and fairness, while the tortoise and the hare shows the situational context through a race that teach patience and hard work. These stories make English learning easier and more meaningful. Alright, we're gonna start with Robin Hood, which is cultural context. Okay, for my setting, which is it was set in a medieval England, which is this is from Disney version, and our main protagonist, Robin Hood, the hero who steals from the rich to help the poor. This stories, it represents social issue, which is justice, fairness, and leadership. It shows values and cultural perspective through language. Okay. For a short summary of the Robin Hood lived in a Sherwood forest with his friend, Merry Man, which is his group. He steals from the rich and help the poor, fighting against injustice from the Prince John and the sheriff. It was set in the medieval England, showing the social system at that time. The cultural element in the Robin Hood, which is castle, forest, kings, and commoners, it all reflect the medieval England era. So it shows culture from that era. For the language, it used polite, a formal speech style from the older English culture. And the values, which is like I mentioned earlier, which is justice, bravery, kindness, loyalty, and fairness. And this, my friends, is values that we should integrate in our student in the future. For social classes, it shows difference between the poor and the rich. Why is it important for English learning? In cultural understanding, students learn how English developed through British culture and history. It helps them connect language with real-world values and tradition. From the side of vocabulary and expression, it introduces words related to royalty, justice, and social life. And it also have moral lessons, like students can discuss what right and wrong. From what we see here, what Robin Hood do is merely good things, right? Because he steals from rich to help the poor. But is stealing is a good thing though? So there's a twist there. So we need to make our kids to be for thinking logically, and in other side they also need to have empathy. Okay, and then from the critical thinking, it encouraged debates and discussion. Just like what I say, was Robin Hood a hero or a thief? Because if you see from the good side, he actually a hero, which is helping people, poor people, those that has been misjudged by those authority that have been corrupted. So if you see from the that side, it actually shows Robin Hood is a good person, which is he's a hero to those who need his help. But in the eyes of authority, if we can see logically, he's a thief. What is a thief? Define of thief, thieving or stealing is not a good thing. we need to teach our kid that stealing is not a good thing. But in this context, he's stealing from the authority, which is from the higher hierarchy, to help the poor. So we can make a debate session in class. It also will have interaction between we as the teachers with our student. They can think critically, and yeah, it can give a session to increase their own vocabulary and their thinking manners. Okay, for the teaching activities, the example that I will give, which is role play. The student act out the scenes, which is one will be a Robin Hood, one will be sheriff, or one will be Maid Marian. The story discussion also compares values in Robin Hood time and today or present. So if we compare it, if what Robin Hood will be doing in modern days now, does it still valid to our timeline now? Creative writing also, students can rewrite the story in a modern setting, like somebody who's stealing from the authority to help the poor. And then lastly is vocabulary camp. Match the medieval theme, which is like castle, sword, forest. Like we can give a picture on the front, and then we'll give them a cardbox that have integrated with the word, which is also teaching them verb, so then they can recognize which is which. It also increases their own general knowledge. Why teachers should use it? It makes lesson fun and meaningful, mix of history, values, and language. It builds cross-culture awareness, which is it will help students appreciate global literature. It also encourages active participation through acting, reading, and discussing. Okay, for the summary of Robin Hood, through Robin Hood, students don't just learn English. They also learn about history, moral values, and cultural identity that shape English-speaking world. This is the importance of cultural context. From cultural context, it builds cultural awareness in learners, encourage discussion, critical thinking in English. It also allows learners to compare Western with our local values. Thus, that normal is usually good in our places or not. And lastly, it promotes vocabulary for justice, morality, and community. Alright, this is the video. We don't need to see it. Okay. Next, the tortoise and the hare, which is I take it as a situational context. Okay, the first scene is fable with a race between tortoise and hare. Okay, both of these characters have different characters, which is hare is careless and arrogant, and tortoise is patient and consistent. The context is competition and overconfidence. Firstly, we need to know what is situational context. It refers to a setting, environment, and relationship in which language is used. Meaning changes depending on who talking, where, and why. In this context, we have two main characters. So, logically, it is situational. The tortoise win because of his steady effort. Then the hare lose because he's arrogant and sleep mid race. So we can learn about moral values also, so that our student will not be arrogant like hare. Okay, students learn how to use English in real life situation. Okay, for a short summary of this story, the hare is fast and proud, while the tortoise is slow but he is determined. So we also can show our student that even when we have so many problems, or how do you say it, but if we have patience and determined, we also can achieve glory when we believe that we can do it, even though others have the ability to complete it more than ourselves. But if they're too arrogant, they also can fall under the bridge. Okay, so they have a race, and Hare become overconfident, and he sleep because he's racing a slow animal. Why do he even care? And the tortoise win because of his steady effort. The moral is slow and steady win the race. Okay, the situational element in this story, which is the setting. The race field, which is a simple and everyday situation. We also can see it in real life, so we can make comparison with the story and relate it to real life situation. Next is characters, represent different personalities, one with confidence and one with passion. The conflict in it, which is a friendly competition that teach humility. And for the resolution, effort and perseverance beat arrogance. That's what I just said just now. Why though it important for English learning? One, for practical use of English, students understand how tone, words, and attitude change within this situation. For example, Hare proud speech versus tortoise humble tone. We can also see this situation in real life, so it's kind of related to our student, so they can learn by the example of this story. And here it also meant to relate to daily communication. We as the teacher will give expression like take your time, don't give up, keep going. It relates with this story also. It gives motivation to our slow learners student, because not all of our student is fast reader or good at something, so they can gradually they will follow, but we need to be patient like tortoise to teach them so they can achieve their own glory in last. And from the side of moral and emotional learning, it encourages patience, self-control, and consistency in learning. Confidence building, students see that effort in English and learning English matters more than speed. Listening and speaking practice, we can use also easy dialogue to pair with others group. Okay, next is teaching activities. This is the example that I've given. Act it out, so we can make acting. So student perform as the tortoise and one as the hare. It focus on pronunciation and emotion. Alright. In discussion side, like we can ask, have you ever been like the tortoise or the hare? The modern version, we can rewrite it as a classroom competition or sport day. Moral reflection of it is we can ask students what lesson they learn and express it in English. So it can increase the moral values and also the English efficiency in speaking. Why we teachers should use it? It is simple, familiar stories. We all know it from from early young age. Even my mother told this story to me, and it also develops situational awareness in language use. It connects English learning to student daily life experience, building motivation through moral lesson and relatable context. So the summary of this story is situational stories like these stories help students understand how English works in real situation and inspire them to learn passionately and consistent. Alright. The importance of situational context shows how language changes and depending on situation. The highlight lesson here is slow and steady win the race. That's the moral story. Alright, so it's also useful for teaching expression of encouragement, motivation, and competition. It makes learners reflect on behavior and communication in real life situation. Okay, the final wrapping, I will wrap up about what the story from Robin Hood and Tortoise and the Hare. Alright, the aspect from Robin Hood, which is cultural context, and Tortoise and the Hare, which is situational context, it focuses on history, tradition, values, real life situation, interaction, learning type, understanding, culture behind English, using English in daily life. It also improve our skill in vocabulary. It also increase their own empathy, critical thinking, speaking, moral understanding, and communication. Lesson outcome connects language to global culture, connects language to personal experience, which in this context is our own student. The lesson of by learning through both cultural and institutional context, students gain not just English skill, they also have cultural understanding, emotional growth, and communication ability. They can think for themselves, they can think which is good, which is bad. They can compare our own normal and other country behavior, or what are they are doing in their own time. Why our story and their story are different. Okay, this is the video of the tortoise and hare. We doesn't need to see it, and I think the conclusion I will say it also. So that's all for me. Thank you.